Piers Morgan was silenced by Lord Blunkett during Monday's edition of Good Morning Britain as the panel debated the government's new lockdown measures to try and combat the spread of coronavirus. Piers Morgan, 55, was on hand to host the debate on Good Morning Britain alongside Susanna Reid, 49, and they were joined by a number of professionals to discuss the lockdown measures which are going to significantly affect the North. Former Home Secretary Lord Blunkett, 73, was in opposition of the government's latest action to combat coronavirus, namely stating the track and trace system isn't working as well as it should be. However, as he tried to put his view forward, he was interrupted by the ITV presenter, to which the guest ended up silencing the outspoken journalist. Lord Blunkett began by saying of the track and trace system, "What you need is a concentrated approach, so instead of COVID marshals having a go at people, we need health education champions. We need them out there in the community. We need to ensure people are following basic, sensible rules. We need the 60,000 people recruited back into the health service, former health service workers actually deployed sensibly where they're needed most. We need to open the Nightingale centres and be prepared to open new ones so we don't displace those who are waiting for essential surgery, so they don't die because they've been displaced by people being taken into hospital. And above all, we need common sense in terms of, firstly, where the evidence is, and secondly, how you count the figures," he continued. Morgan went on to say he agreed with the guest, but the former politician jumped in and silenced him before he was cut off. "No, hang on. I'm just going to finish this sentence, Piers. Thank you very much," the former Home Secretary said as he snapped at the host. Morgan was left with no choice but to remain quiet as the politician continued with what he was trying to say. Lord Blunkett then picked up where he left off, explaining to the presenters where the track and trace system is failing. Nottingham is half the size of Sheffield with two major universities. 3/4 of the 2,600 who, over the weekend, were identified as having the virus, actually were students. Take those out of the statistics and then concentrate your attention of where it's needed the most, he declared. Prime Minister Boris Johnson, 55, is set to formally announce a new 3-tier system later on Monday to try and curb the spike in coronavirus cases. The new initiative will essentially split the country up into different regions more profoundly and give each one a medium, high or very high alert with regards to the number of cases being reported. It has been reported the government has tried to strike deals with local leaders in the north where the infection rates are currently the highest. Tier 1 of the new restrictions will coincide with the rules currently in place. For example, a 10 p.m. curfew on the hospitality sector and a ban on gatherings of more than 6 people. Tier 2 will incorporate the latter, but will also include the ban on indoor mixing of households at overnight stays. The third and final tier, which will be implemented in the regions on the highest alert, would see the closure of most hospitality venues, as well as gyms, betting shops and casinos. It is thought schools and essential shops will remain open, but with social distancing and face masks being worn. Mr. Johnson's address on Monday evening will also state how long the measures are likely to stay in place to get a handle on the virus. You need to enable JavaScript to run this app. At the moment, Liverpool and Knowsley, as well as Manchester, continue to be some of the worst hit regions in the UK. The case rates in the former two cities now sit at over 600 per 100,000, meaning they will be placed into Tier 3 of the new system. Manchester looks set to face similar restrictions, although council leaders are now threatening legal action against the government unless businesses are given sufficient financial aid. Across the UK on Sunday, a further 12,872 new COVID cases were reported, as well as 65 fatalities as a result of the case numbers increasing.